Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channels. In case it's your first time bumping into this video, my name's Ruben and my wife is actually Sarah, and yeah, we are a couple, a Zambian couple on YouTube. We do YouTube videos based on different issues, different topics, and things that are of interest and things that are of exciting to us. We record them. So it's been a minute being on camera, and I'm glad I'm back, and thank God I'm back. A lot of things happened, guys, as you can tell from the title below. I happen to have had COVID-19, guys, in this third wave, they're calling it. So I'm here just to share how my experience and how it all happened, and thank God I'm here, and I'm kicking, and yeah, we appreciate God. So guys, the way it happened is where do I even start from? Initially, I had I started feeling bad, I think um 3 days before, I think, yeah, 4 days before I actually tested positive for COVID-19, and I actually went for malaria testing. I thought I had malaria, and malaria came out negative. But despite malaria being negative, I actually went ahead to actually start medication. So after finishing the medication for malaria, unfortunately, I didn't recover, and I thought, sure, I've finished the medication, and I'm not actually still not recovering. I still had uh, a whole lot of things going on in my body. So I decided to go back to the hospital. So when I went to the hospital on the second time after finishing the malaria medication, I actually went there, and the doctor told me, no, you are actually okay. Maybe it's just that it's a bit cold, and then the cough you're having, it's actually affecting your body and your temperature and everything. So I came back normal, but again, still I wasn't okay. Eventually I went back again on the third day, and on this third day actually, it was I didn't know that I was going for COVID testing, because it was my wife who arranged with my boss at work to actually take me secretly, because they thought I refused to do COVID-19 testing. So we went there. So when we actually reached the hospital, I got swabbed, and I was found with COVID-19. So immediately my wife got tested as well. She actually came out negative. My boss came out negative, and the driver actually came out negative. So uh, one thing I remember asking, but anyway, before that, before testing for COVID, on the 8th of June, I actually collapsed um, in the night around 23:30. I collapsed, guys, and it was whilst I was sleeping, and it's a situation where I was sleeping, and then something kept on telling me to wake up, whilst in my sleep. Something kept on telling me to wake up, wake up, wake up. So, when you're tired and then you feel like, I just need to sleep. So I resisted the voice, for quite a long time, until I woke up. So when I woke up, actually, I don't know, I was just in a very bad state. I woke up, I rushed to the kitchen, but then in the kitchen I didn't find it's not that I was going to get anything. I just quickly went to the kitchen, came back to the bedroom. I collapsed I actually fell on the bed. So when I fell on the bed, I still wasn't okay. I collapsed back on the floor, and that's how I actually somehow fainted. Thank God to my wife, who quickly had to make me have access to oxygen. So she opened the bedroom windows, and she started, making me have access to oxygen. And that's how I actually woke up. It was about 2, 3 minutes. I was on the floor, not breathing, nothing. So when I actually woke up, I started actually crying, and Um, I held my wife, and I couldn't believe what actually happened, because I actually collapsed, completely collapsed, and I wasn't breathing. But quickly, after 2, 3 minutes, I was okay. I cried a bit. I couldn't, I knew what happened, but then I couldn't explain properly to my wife, And my wife went into depression or some kind of shock, because she didn't expect, because she was also asleep. So I suddenly woke her up. She developed a bad headache, and then her heart started pumping very fast, because of, I think, what has happened. So in the morning, on the 9th, I actually woke up. I was okay, did a bit of activities. But then on the 10th of June, that was my birthday. That's when I was actually tested positive for COVID-19. Fortunately enough, on the same day when I tested positive on my birthday, that is the 10th of June, I actually even got a scholarship to study entrepreneurship. So two things happened on my birthday. I tested positive, and then I won a scholarship to study entrepreneurship. So when I won the scholarship, classes actually started on the same day I tested positive, and then I was sick. I was down, guys. I was down like, yo. It was terrible. So I started medication, and yeah, it was it was a bad one for me, because I developed a terrible headache. Up to now, I still have a bit of headache, and developed a bad cough, which was very, very, very bad, guys. And up to now, I am still coughing, though it's not as bad as it was. Yeah, and it was a terrible situation for me, because I kept on collapsing. I think I remember in the period I had COVID, I'd actually collapsed about two times or so, and I kept losing breath in the night. So the situation got so worse that my wife kept on taking me to the hospital. I remember on the third time I was taken to the hospital, I actually was even put on isolation, like isolation center for the hospital, because the situation, I wasn't stable. I wasn't getting stable despite being on medication for COVID-19. Um, but then the bad thing about the isolation centers for hospitals is that um, the care that you get while you're in isolation and the care that you get when you're home is different. That's why I noticed is that people easily die when they're in isolation centers, because they get little care. Like the things, like when I was sick, the things that I needed, like no one would provide if I'm in isolation than when I'm home. So the risk was that if I'm home, my wife would be actually, I would also get COVID, because we are the two of us home. So she's the only one who's supposed to take care of me. So that was a fear of the doctor, to say you are not getting stable, so we cannot let you go home, because definitely your wife will be affected, and it's better you stay here at the hospital, where we are looking after. Though I appreciate the fact that it was a high cost section. Sorry for that. But then still, we find that it wasn't ideal for me to be there, because as much as the doctor said I wasn't stable, but I wasn't as bad as the people that I found in the isolation center. It was so scary for me, because guys, seeing people on the oxygen, someone has been on the oxygen for about 4 or 5 days, and the person looks like is not there, and then I'm taken there, and I remember telling the doctor to say, I can't be here. As much as you want me to be in isolation, but I can't be here. Find me somewhere else, because I'm not as bad as the people I'm seeing here. You get the point. So that's how I was actually given another room, where I was actually, as much as it was in the same room with the other in isolation, but I was alone. Like, I wasn't able to see the other guys who were also in isolation. So here's what happened. I never stayed long. I think I only stayed about 4 hours in isolation, where until my young brother came. My young brother is practicing medicine. Uh, is a medical doctor, being trained as a medical doctor. So that's how we came, and he negotiated with the doctor for me to be actually released and be taken home, so that I can quarantine myself home and be taken care of at home. So it was a bit hard for my young brother to actually negotiate through. It took him, I think, 4 hours just for the doctor to say, okay, provided you be bringing him for injections every single day, you know, because they told me to get injections for 5 days for COVID. So that's how actually my brother said, no, there's an alternative. The same injection that you are giving him, we can buy pills which he can be taking every single day. Instead of him coming to the hospital every single day, he can be getting these pills every single day, so that we balance up. That's how I came out from isolation center at the hospital. It wasn't a good place for me. It wasn't going to be good for me, because I wasn't as bad as the people, because as much as I was losing oxygen, but my oxygen wasn't stable, yes, but it wasn't as bad as the people that I found on oxygen in isolation center. So it's just that I had limited oxygen with me. I kept on losing breath, you know. So that's how I came home, and being home, the two of us. I remember um, we are just I and my wife, and it's not possible to maintain social distance when you're just the two of you, the wife and the husband, and the wife is expected to take care of the husband. So it was a bit hard for me to actually maintain social distance with my wife. And I thank God my wife. And the funny thing about my wife is that she never she took it as if I'm sick, not with COVID, but any other disease. So she wasn't scared. She kept on hugging me. She kept on taking care of me, because I was weak. She kept on bathing me, giving me medicine, steaming, especially the steaming part. So it was a bit hard, but I managed to get through it, and by the grace of God, I'm here. And I must mention that, guys, COVID is real. um Especially the third wave is actually very, very real, guys. uh it's so unfortunate. I couldn't trace where I got this COVID, because I'm one person who actually just moves from the office back home, in the morning to the office, back home. Not so much. I remember when I was tested positive, the doctor asked me, did you make any movements, like long distance movements? I said, no, I haven't traveled anywhere for a long time. I've just been home, work. And I don't know where. I can't remember where I went, where I could, maybe in the shops. But still, I'm one person who is a bit careful. But one thing I can mention to you guys, that we really need to take extra care COVID is there. I know there are quite a number of people. Even when I recovered, I went for review and I tested negative. I remember meeting a friend and telling him my story. The guy refused to say, "No, guys, there's no COVID." So I couldn't convince him because he doesn't believe in COVID. So one thing I told him is that as much as you don't believe that there's no COVID, but take extra care because it may come soon. Because it's the numbers are getting worse every single day. The numbers of people that have been tested positive, the numbers of people that are dying are rising every single day compared to the first when we were told that there's COVID. You know, now it's actually almost like where I'm staying. My neighbor has COVID. My workplace is all over. It's everywhere. You know, so we really need to take care, guys. And I am just so grateful that God allowed me to get through this. And the unfortunate part, after I tested negative, my wife tested positive for COVID. But one thing is that for her, it's not as bad as it was for me. That's why she's not on camera because she's still in quarantine. She's in another room. So she tested positive, and she's doing fine. She's doing fine, guys. It's not as bad as I was. So for her, it's mild, but for me, guys, it was bad. It was bad. I remember one time kneeling down and just praying to God to say, God, let your will be done. If really this is what will take me off earth, please let your will be done. Because it was a very, very scary situation. I couldn't believe, but I kept on fighting. I kept on taking medication. I kept on doing these other things to make sure that I'm okay. I'm getting there. So I've recovered, and I'm glad that I'll be reporting even for work soon. And I'm healthy. I'm also taking care of my wife. So this is what I was taught by the doctor to say, if you get COVID, like the way I tested positive, eventually I retested negative. But my wife, since I'm actually nursing my wife now, the chances of me getting COVID again are very slim. So despite me nursing my wife, um, I have little, the chances of getting it again is very little because it has already gone through my immune system. But that doesn't mean that I can't test positive again. So the idea is that we'll be going for review very soon. I'll be taking my wife to the hospital very soon to recheck positivity levels. So when I take her to the hospital, that's the day I also need to recheck again because I've been I've been nursing my wife, so we have to make sure that the time if she tests negative, I also have to make sure I check. I don't have to go back home with not being clear as in whether I'm positive again or negative. So basically that's it, guys. Take care and remember to subscribe to this particular channel and also give this video a thumbs up. So leave a comment down below. How is your situation for COVID in your area, especially on this third wave? So thank you so much for watching to the end. Bye bye.